Good morning, everybody. Really great to see you all. Let me make sure I can do this. Is this going to work? No, doesn't matter. I'll do it this way. I'm not used to Windows. Yep. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this thing, Mike. I don't think I need it. Who's on? If I can up here. Okay. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Just wonderful to see you all in person. I started here 4 years ago. Started with the National Coordinated Soil Moisture Monitoring Network 4 years ago. With the pandemic, we were online for a couple of years, but getting back to in-person is just fabulous. So it's so great to see friends, old friends already, and now some new faces. Really looking forward to our time together. So we've got 3 days. This meeting. Hello. Okay, we've got some superpowers, not exactly the best kind for people. I'm a blow your ears out superpower. Okay, so this meeting is hosted, as you probably can tell, by USDA. Thank you very much, Mike Kosh and the library, and sponsored more generally by the National Coordinated Soil Moisture Monitoring Network, which I'm going to tell you about in a little bit, but hopefully you've all heard about it. Just want to really quickly talk about the objectives. I don't know if anybody noticed these on the website, but obviously our purpose here is to share new soil moisture research and bounce ideas off of each other. The things I want to highlight here, we say we want cutting edge research. I mean, I think pretty much anything you guys are doing is cutting edge. It's such a wonderful aspect of this domain. We can make such progress in all these different areas. We want to highlight new applications and application-oriented research ideas. This is all about not only doing the cool research, but getting it to make a difference in the world. You guys are all engaged in that, I know. And then we want to stimulate as best we can just by being here, talking, sharing, thinking, realizing the vision of this National Coordinated Soil Moisture Monitoring Network, this collection of people and projects. And then also the forest soil moisture monitoring component of that, which is a big focus of this meeting. And then this last one is the most important, in my opinion, have fun and make friends. Have fun in the context of the work that we do together, which is so important. So really quickly through the agenda, as you might imagine, we've got 3 days, mostly presentations, research presentations. And then tonight or this afternoon, and then tomorrow afternoon, we'll have the poster sessions. Do not skimp on those because there's some really good ones. We had more requests to present than we had slots. So we've got some really interesting posters to share. I'm just going to highlight the things in brown there. So today for lunch, we're going to have pick up our box lunch in the kitchen, and then have a guided discussion on 2 documents we're doing this year that are really important. I'll tell you about them in a minute, but soil moisture data quality and metadata. So really looking forward to your attention for that. And then don't forget the happy hour this afternoon, 4:30. Wednesday, another general session. In the morning, Tyson Auctioner is going to give us what we're calling a keynote. He didn't realize he was doing a keynote, but we decided we're going to call it that. We're hoping that in addition to his research, he's going to reflect a little bit. He's had such experience with this whole span of developing the soil moisture community. 11:45, a group photo. Not trivial. Mike Kosh has been doing this every year, so we really love keeping track of how we're growing and changing. And then again, at lunch tomorrow, Campbell Scientific, thank you very much, has sponsored that lunch. And that's a little bit more casual, not as structured, but we wanted to take the opportunity to talk about future soil moisture workshop meetings and other parts of our combined initiative. Thursday, we shift to a real focus on forests, and in yellow, you note that we're going to start at 8:45. So please do be on time for that, because we have just a very packed, just maybe kind of sounds wrong, but a very full day that day, and culminating at 2:15 with a really important part, which is after all the things we've heard over the last couple of days, and particularly the focus on forests, what can we do to move it forward? What are our outcomes? What are our next steps? It's sort of getting an action plan together. So again, really look forward to your engagement on that. Okay, just want to thank our hosts and co-sponsors. Again, Mike with ARS, and then the National Agricultural Library, our lunch sponsors. I just mentioned them. All right. And now I'm going to turn to my part of the presentation, which is just giving you a little bit of orientation to the National Coordinated Soil Moisture Monitoring Network. Some of you have probably heard this talk several times, more than you'd like. You probably give it yourselves, but I'm thinking there might be some people a little bit new when we kind of want to all be on the same page. So this National Coordinated Soil Moisture Monitoring Network, a really awful name we got from Congress, no offense. Don't quote me on that. NCSMMN is our acronym. It's not an awful name, it's just a long name, but I think the intention is really to capture the important parts about what we're trying to do. And that is deliver coordinated, high quality, nationwide soil moisture information for the public good. So this is our mission statement. Public good, I come from NIDIS, I didn't mention that, the National Integrated Drought Information System at NOAA. And our focus, of course, is drought, getting people and information together to serve the public with early warning on drought. But this initiative is ecumenical in terms of the hydro state. So we want to serve drought, flooding, wildfire, agricultural decision-making, forest monitoring, forest management, health. You guys can add other topics, application areas, and you will over the next couple of days. So we are trying to serve the public good more broadly. And we've got these three main buckets of activity that we hope to realize that mission through. One is building this network of networks, honoring the state and federal soil moisture networks, some longstanding, others just coming online, some lapsing, but just the effort we have as a distributed group to generate soil moisture monitoring data, bring that together and then blend it as we can with satellite and model data. So we have the best picture of soil moisture conditions. Depending on the application, the balance will shift on those, but we want to bring that together. We also want to build this network of people, all of you and many who couldn't be here and new ones to come that are working together all the way along the data pipeline to build our soil moisture information system. And then, of course, we want the R&D to backfill on the many things we still don't quite know how to do relative to making soil moisture data, that actual VWC or whatever metric potential measurement that we're getting into something that makes a difference again in the world because it makes sense to the people who need that information. You could just see some of the organizations that are involved. And here's our executive committee. I'm not going to read this, of course, and I'm not going to, but I just want to highlight people in brown or members of the executive committee that are here at the meeting or maybe online. I had a couple of people who couldn't get in here, but you can see that, I don't know, 4/5, 6/7 of the committee is here, just indicating how much of this effort matters to us. That committee took the lead, even before I came, actually several years of organizing to develop the strategy for the National Coordinated Soil Moisture Monitoring Network. This is a document that we were required to do by Congress. And it's a document that gives us a roadmap and recommendations for how we can move this vision forward. And so here are the key recommendations of the kind of things you'd expect: expanding our partnerships, making them more formal, develop data quality criteria. That's something, again, we'll be talking about at lunchtime, supporting research, communication and outreach. And then at the end, sort of our holy grail are these real-time gridded as we can, point if we need, national maps and other products to deliver on soil moisture. The three-legged stool is for in situ, remote, sensed, and model data, because all of them play a role keeping us going. Really quickly, some of our, I think, higher accomplishments, or sort of the sort of bigger level accomplishments. Getting that strategy together maybe seems like a paper exercise, but I think it was a really valuable opportunity for the participants. And we had over 200 people around the country giving some input on that. To get on paper, what are we trying to do and how are we going to do it? And it's very valuable as we talk to others in the public sphere, Congress, et cetera. So people are really noticing that. We've had some really important network expansions. We'll be talking a little bit later, presentations on both the Corps of Engineers project in the Upper Missouri and then the Atlanta, Georgia, Florida build out, both of them really transformational projects. The latter, a lot's going to come out of the UMRB project, but the latter one specifically written into the project was applications development. And Lee Ellenberg is going to be talking about that. Very, very exciting. Number of state mesonettes coming online. Just so proud of you all for getting that moving. I know we have a couple new people with those states here today. Product advancement, this is just a minor list. But I do always want to start with nationalsoilmoisture.com. Stephen Byron couldn't be here, but that is still our prototype integrated platform for the various streams of data, of in situ data. But also they are continuing to develop products on that platform, including this year they're coming out with a flash drought monitoring tool. based on soil moisture. And then TopoFire, if you haven't heard of it, you will be. This is a new, I think it's been around for a while, but it's newly available and presented CONUS 250-meter resolution soil moisture model. It was developed to support fire detection, so it's topographic fire, TopoFire, but is also being used more generally to get some soil moisture monitoring estimates. So I'm going to hear more about that too a little bit later in the day. Ramped up outreach and engagement. We've done a number of seminars and workshops. How am I doing? 5 minutes. Okay. And Todd Caldwell, could you stand for a second, please? Thank you very much, Todd Caldwell. That was a second, I guess. Installation protocol in Joe. So Journal of Visual Experiments. This is sort of our first formal technical assistance document that we as a community prepared that is intended to provide best practices for how to actually get things into the ground. So we want to keep building on that, and that data quality and metadata project, those two projects are going to be part of that. But again, Todd took the real heavy lift on that. And it wasn't always fun, I know that, working with those editors. Okay, what do I have? You're coming to get me off. Okay, all right, real quick, what we're doing now that I want to highlight, this is just a partial list. Mentioned these guidance documents, they'll be coming out in January. You'll hear more about those. UMRB data value study. I can't really get into this, but this is another requirement from Congress for us to look at that data coming out of the UMRB and some surrogate data where we don't quite have the actual data, and assess the kind of value we get out of that data for very specific applications. River forecast models, the Corps of Engineers hydrologic reservoir model, drought monitor, et cetera. And we're going to be coming out with, we've got 7 projects this year, so we're going to be coming out with really good and interesting results soon. I mentioned TopoFire already, it's an exciting new model. We're going to actually be this year working to get into formal U.S. Forest Service National Fire Danger Rating System. That's the rating that they use formally to have a sense of where risks are. How am I doing? Still going too slow? Okay, and then we got some other forest projects which you'll hear about again later in the day. Outreach and engagement, we just had the skills school yesterday and a month ago or so. Very excited to get new people grappling. I even got to stick a probe in the ground yesterday, and now I consider myself certified. Todd's got it on the camera. Okay, and then we also did this last year did a sort of a focused Midwest climatologist review of soil moisture tools, that kind of thing. We want to expand broadly to help the user community. This is my last slide. So this is what I think we're doing well, and we can talk about this over the next couple of days. I feel like we've been focused on tech assistance, technical assistance. We're coming up with the data quality thing now. So we've been focusing, improving the data quality or quantity and quality, community engagement, and then we've been tackling research issues. But what do we need to focus on more? This is probably going to always be on this list, but we really want to do a better job. 2 minutes. Okay, I can do that. Securing adequate resources for our vision and particularly for the in-situ monitoring, especially the O&M. So getting things in the ground is one thing. We got to make sure they keep staying there. And we really have to do a better job of doing that, convincing others, et cetera. We need to do a better job of curating existing tools. I mean, we have this vision of new tools, but there are a bunch of tools out there and people don't know how to use them for obvious reasons. That's not their specialty. So, and you model developers don't always plan for the user community, I have to say. We need to establish an effective data platform. We've got nationalsoilmoisture.com, but we need something that's a little bit more stable that can really, with appropriate technical knowledge we have now, really deliver the data. And then even though we've made progress on the technical research issues, we still have a lot of things we need to tackle. I've got POR, peer to record, interpolation and uncertainty, the 3 topics I really always have on my mind. And many of you do too. Okay, so I don't know if we have time for questions, or do we have any questions? I hope you could all hear me as I talked fast.